Elder Titans, the first generation brothers. Greetings, dear viewers of my channel. Today we embark on a journey into the distant mythological past, to the very origins of ancient Greek gods. We will talk about those who ruled the cosmos long before Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, those whose names have been forgotten by many, yet without whom it is impossible to understand how the universe was structured in the minds of the ancient Greeks. Our focus will be on the first and most powerful sons of Gaia and Uranus, the male Titans of the first generation. The Titans were divine beings embodying the fundamental elements of the world. They symbolized the forces of nature, celestial phenomena, intellect, power, and the fate of humanity. According to ancient Greek beliefs, before the rise of the Olympian gods, the universe was under the dominion of these mighty beings, and it was they who shaped the world in which Zeus and his descendants would later rule. Among the Titans, there were 6 brothers, each representing a distinct aspect of the cosmos. Oceanus, the boundless waters of the great river encircling the earth. Coeus, the power of intellect and prophecy. Hyperion, light and the radiance of the heavens. Iapetus, mortality and the fate of humankind. Crius, cosmic order and celestial alignments. Cronus, time, the destruction of the past and the creation of the future. These 6 Titans played a pivotal role in the struggle for dominion over the world. They overthrew their father, Uranus, ushering in a new era. Yet in time, they themselves were cast down by their own descendant, Zeus. Their story is one of intrigue, power struggles, and grandeur. In this video, I will take you through the myths of each of these Titans, who they were, what powers they possessed, and how their destinies unfolded in the great conflict between the Titans and the Olympians. Let us delve into the world of ancient myths and explore why the Greeks believed in these primordial deities and what significance they held in their culture. Prepare for an exciting journey into an age when the world did not yet belong to the Olympian gods and the universe was ruled by the Titans. Chapter 1. Oceanus, the primordial waters of the cosmos. Oceanus, ancient Greek, Okeanos, was one of the elder Titans, the firstborn son of Uranus, the sky, and Gaia, the earth. In ancient Greek mythology, he personified the great cosmic river that encircled the entire known world. This river was not merely a body of water, but the very boundary of existence, beyond which lay uncharted lands, the realm of the dead, and worlds inhabited by other beings. Unlike the later Olympian god of the sea, Poseidon, who ruled the waters within the earthly realm, Oceanus was a deity of a much grander scale. He did not reside in a palace beneath the waves, nor did he govern the seas like a king. He was the waters themselves, in their primordial, boundless, and infinite form. The ancient Greeks did not envision Oceanus as a specific sea or ocean, but as a vast, eternal stream that surrounded the world, feeding all rivers, seas, and springs. The concept of Oceanus as a limitless water ring enclosing the world was influenced by ancient Eastern civilizations, particularly the Sumerians and Babylonians, who had a similar notion of a world river, Apsu. However, in Greek mythology, Oceanus developed unique attributes and played a distinct mythological role. Oceanus was married to his sister Tethys, ancient Greek Thetis or Tithys, who was also associated with water, particularly its nourishing and life-giving aspects. Unlike Oceanus, who embodied the boundless, unceasing current, Tethys symbolized the distribution of water, the movement of moisture through rivers, springs, and rainfall. Together, they formed a divine couple from whom all waters of the earth descended. According to Hesiod's Theogony, Oceanus and Tethys had an enormous number of offspring, 3,000 river gods and 3,000 Oceanids. Oceanus was the progenitor of all river gods, each of whom presided over a specific body of water. Among them were Nile, the god of the great Egyptian river, venerated by both Greeks and Egyptians. Scamander, the river god near Troy, mentioned in the Iliad as a deity who even engaged in battle with Achilles. Alpheus, a river god who fell in love with the nymph Arethusa and pursued her until she was transformed into a sacred spring in Sicily. In the ancient Greek world, every major river was considered a living entity with its own divine patron, worshipped by local inhabitants. All of these river gods were regarded as the children of Oceanus, emphasizing his fundamental role in Greek cosmology. The 3,000 daughters of Oceanus and Tethys, known as the Oceanids, were connected not only to rivers and springs, but also to various natural phenomena. Some played particularly significant roles in mythology. Styx, one of the most powerful Oceanids, the personification of the underworld river by which the gods swore unbreakable oaths. Breaking such a vow brought severe consequences. Metis, the goddess of wisdom and wise counsel, the first wife of Zeus. Fearing a prophecy that their son would surpass him in power, Zeus swallowed her. Later, from his head, the goddess Athena was born. Electra, the mother of Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, and the Harpies. These nymphs, alongside the river gods, created a complete image of the divine waters, where each aspect of the aquatic world had its celestial guardian.
In mythology, it was believed that each night the sun descended into the waters of Oceanus in the west and rose again in the east the following day. This concept positioned Oceanus as a crucial element in explaining the natural cycles of the world. Unlike his brothers, Oceanus did not take part in the Titanomachy, the great war between the Titans and the Olympians. He sided with neither Cronus nor Zeus, choosing to remain apart from the conflict. Perhaps his role as the source of all waters made him too essential to both sides, allowing him to avoid punishment after the Olympians' victory. In Aeschylus's tragedy, Prometheus bound, Oceanus visits the chained Prometheus and urges him to abandon his struggle against Zeus. He advises him to seek reconciliation, but Prometheus refuses, believing that Zeus will one day fall. This episode portrays Oceanus as a wise yet non-intervening deity. Oceanus is frequently referenced in ancient texts. Homer, Iliad, Odyssey, describes Oceanus as the primordial source of all things, the father of the gods. Hesiod, Theogony, details his genealogy and progeny. Plato uses Oceanus as a metaphor in philosophical discussions about the limits of the world. Oceanus was one of the oldest and most magnificent titans, embodying the endless flow of water that surrounded the world. He did not engage in divine conflicts, yet he remained ever present in the Greek imagination as the eternal source and boundary of existence. His descendants, the river gods and Oceanids, played significant roles in mythology, while he himself became a symbol of infinity and the continuous cycle of life. Chapter 2. Coeus, Titan of Intellect and Prophecy. Coeus was one of the 12 first-generation Titans. His name is derived from the ancient Greek root koios, which can mean question or inquiry, directly indicating his connection to thought, reasoning, and the pursuit of truth. In Greek mythology, Coeus embodied intellect, wisdom, and the ability to foresee events. Unlike other titans whose domains were tied to natural elements, Oceanus ruled over water, Hyperion over light, and Crius over the stars. Coeus was associated with an abstract but essential force: knowledge. He was the Titan embodiment of reason, logic, and prophetic insight, a legacy that would later be passed down to his descendants. One of his defining aspects was his connection to prophecy and celestial phenomena. Although he was eventually overshadowed by his grandson Apollo, Coeus played a crucial role in the early myths concerning foresight and divination. Coeus was married to his sister Phoebe, a Titaness, whose name can be translated as radiant or pure. Like Coeus, she was associated with prophecy, and her influence was later inherited by their grandson Apollo, who became the principal god of divination. Together, Coeus and Phoebe formed a pair symbolizing the union of intellectual strength and prophetic wisdom. If Coeus represented reason as a tool for logic, analysis, and deduction, Phoebe embodied its spiritual and mystical side, linked to divine revelation. Coeus and Phoebe were the parents of 2 daughters who played significant roles in Greek mythology: Leto, the mother of Apollo, and Artemis. She inherited her father's connection to foresight and prophecy, passing it on to her son Apollo, who became the god of oracles and the patron of the Delphic oracle. Asteria, the goddess of nighttime prophecy and the starry heavens. She became the mother of Hecate, the goddess of magic, witchcraft, and esoteric knowledge. Through his daughters, Coeus transmitted his dominion over intellect and prophecy to the Olympian gods. Coeus was often associated with the celestial axis, an imaginary line around which the heavens rotate. In ancient Greek thought, he was linked to the direction of cosmic forces and the patterns governing the universe. As the Titan of intellect, Coeus not only possessed great wisdom, but also symbolized the cosmic order that could be understood through reason and observation. This connection to the heavens and the stars was vital to the Greeks, as they relied on celestial signs for prophecy and knowledge of the future. Although later myths assigned the role of divination primarily to the Olympian gods, such as Zeus and Apollo, Coeus was among the first deities associated with prophecy. He passed his gift of foresight down through Leto and Asteria to his descendants, Apollo and Hecate. A particularly important aspect of Coeus's legacy was his connection to the Delphic oracle. According to myth, the power of prophecy at Delphi originally belonged to Gaia, then was inherited by Themis, followed by Phoebe, Coeus's wife, and only later passed to Apollo. Through his marriage to Phoebe, Coeus was thus linked to one of the most important religious and prophetic centers in Greek civilization. As one of the Titans, Coeus took part in the Titanomachy, the great war between the Titans and the Olympian gods. He fought on the side of Cronus against the rebellion led by Zeus and his siblings. Although myths do not provide specific details about his role in battle, it is likely that Coeus used his intellect to devise strategies and anticipate enemy movements. However, despite his wisdom, he was unable to prevent the downfall of the Titans after the Olympians' victory. Zeus cast all the defeated Titans into Tartarus, the deepest abyss of the underworld, even lower than Hades' domain. Coeus was bound in enormous chains forged by Hephaestus and condemned to eternal imprisonment. Tartarus later became the prison for the most dangerous beings in mythology, but the Titans remained there as symbols of the old overthrown order. Although Coeus is not among the most frequently mentioned Titans in mythology, he appears in several ancient texts. Hesiod's Theogony describes his lineage, family, and participation in the Titanomachy. Apollodorus's Bibliotheca lists him among the Titans imprisoned in Tartarus. Hyginus' Fabulae mentions his descendants and his connection to prophecy. While Coeus did not have a widespread cult in ancient Greece, his influence endured through his descendants, Apollo and Hecate, whose followers believed in the power of prophecy and magic. Coeus is one of the most enigmatic Titans, representing intellect, logic, and foresight. He was not physically powerful like Cronus or Oceanus, but his strength lay in knowledge, prophecy, and his connection to the cosmos. Although the Titans were overthrown by the Olympians, Coeus's legacy endured through his daughters and grandchildren. His influence is evident in Apollo, the god of oracles, and Hecate, the goddess of magic, as well as in the role of the Delphic oracle. In Greek cosmology, Coeus symbolizes the pursuit of understanding through intellect and foresight. His downfall serves as a reminder that even wisdom cannot always alter destiny. Chapter 3. The Origin and Nature of the Titan Crius. Crius was one of the first-generation Titans. His name likely derives from the Greek root krion, meaning ruler or lord, emphasizing his association with power, dominion, and authority. Although Crius is one of the lesser-known Titans, he played an important role in mythological tradition. Unlike his brother Coeus, who was connected to intellect and prophecy, Crius was associated with strength, celestial phenomena, and the movement of heavenly bodies. The ancient Greeks viewed the stars not only as cosmic elements, but also as symbols of fate, order, and the cyclical nature of time. In this sense, Crius embodied the connection between the heavens' authority and the fundamental laws governing the universe. Crius was married to Eurybia, ancient Greek Euryvia, an ancient goddess embodying strength, resilience, and dominion over the elements. Unlike the Titanesses, she belonged to an older generation of deities. Her parents were Pontus, the primordial god of the sea, and Gaia, the goddess of the earth. Eurybia was distinct from other sea goddesses like Thetis or Amphitrite in that she did not represent gentleness or femininity, but rather the relentless force of nature. Her union with Crius symbolized the merging of power and celestial authority, a combination that was reflected in their offspring. Crius and Eurybia were the parents of three mighty deities who played significant roles in mythology: Astraeus, Titan of dusk and father of the stars and winds, With Eos, goddess of dawn, he fathered Zephyrus, Boreas, Notus, and Eurus, the gods of the four winds who ruled over the elements. Pallas, a god of war representing martial prowess. His name was later associated with Athena Pallas, highlighting the importance of his legacy. Perses, a titan of destruction and father of Hecate, the goddess of magic, night enchantments, and esoteric knowledge. Through his descendants, Crius extended his influence over the stars, winds, warfare, and magic, making him a significant figure in the Greek pantheon. Though Crius is not the most well-known astronomical deity, his name is often linked to constellations and the movement of celestial bodies. In Greek cosmology, the heavenly lights were considered instruments through which the gods influenced human fate. As the father of Astraeus, Crius was closely connected to stars and planets, giving him a status among the deities governing celestial phenomena. Some ancient sources suggest that he might have represented the celestial sphere or the rotation of the stars around the cosmic axis. Through his son Astraeus, who fathered the winds and stars, Crius was associated with the changing of seasons. The ancient Greeks relied on the position of constellations to determine the start of agricultural cycles, making Crius a potential patron of nature's rhythms. His influence was particularly evident through Astraeus and his wind god sons, who controlled weather patterns and seasonal shifts. Constellations, which were used for navigation and predicting harvests. In this way, Crius played a crucial role in maintaining the cosmic order. When Zeus rebelled against his father Cronus and declared war on the Titans, Crius, like most of his brothers, sided with Cronus. Although the myths do not provide details about his role in the battle, it is possible that Crius used his influence over the stars and natural forces for strategic planning. He may have worked with Astraeus and his wind god sons to harness the power of the elements against the Olympians. Despite his power, Crius, like the other Titans, was ultimately defeated by Zeus and his allies. After 10 years of war, the Olympians triumphed over the Titans. Crius, along with Cronus, Coeus, and the other fallen Titans, was cast into Tartarus, the deepest abyss of the underworld, far below the realm of the dead. According to mythology, the Titans were chained in unbreakable bonds forged by Hephaestus, and the 100-handed Hecaton Cheras were assigned as their guards. In some myths, Zeus later released the Titans, but by then their influence over the world had faded. Though Crius is rarely mentioned in surviving ancient texts, he appears in several key sources. Hesiod's Theogony lists him as one of the 12 Titans, and the father of Astraeus, Pallas, and Perses. Apollodorus's Library mentions Crius among the Titans imprisoned in Tartarus. Hyginus Astronomica associates him with celestial phenomena, though he is not explicitly named as a god of stars. While Crius was not an object of widespread worship, his influence lived on through his descendants, especially Hecate, who became a major figure in Greek religion. Crius was one of the lesser-known yet significant Titans, symbolizing authority, cosmic order, and the motion of celestial bodies. His connection to constellations and the cycle of seasons made him an important figure in ancient Greek cosmology. Although his power was lost after the Titanomachy, his legacy endured through his offspring, Astraeus, Pallas, and Perses. Through them, he influenced the stars, winds, warfare, and magic, making him a key figure in Greek mythological tradition. Chapter 4. Hyperion, the Titan of Light. Hyperion was one of the 12 Titans. These Titans embodied various forces of nature and played a crucial role in the mythological history of the cosmos. Hyperion stood apart from his siblings by embodying the sky and light, linking the world of the Titans with celestial phenomena. He took as his wife his sister, the Titaness Theia, who was also associated with radiance and brilliance. Their union produced 3 children, each of whom became a manifestation of essential cosmic forces. Helios, the god of the sun, who guided its movement across the sky, and each day he traveled in his golden chariot, flooding the world with sunlight. Selene, the goddess of the moon, who governed the nocturnal luminary and embodied its journey through the heavens. Eos, the goddess of the dawn, who brought light before sunrise and symbolized the awakening of the day. This triad of Hyperion's children became a fundamental element of the mythological worldview of the ancient Greeks. Helios, Selene, and Eos controlled the celestial cycles, while their father Hyperion was regarded as a primordial force predating even the sun itself. He was the one who first observed the movement of celestial bodies and established the order of luminous phenomena, making him the embodiment of primordial radiance and eternal light. The name Hyperion comes from the ancient Greek root hyper, meaning above or beyond, and can be translated as the one who goes above or the exalted one. This epithet closely ties to his role in mythology, as Hyperion represented the primordial light that existed even before the emergence of the sun. Unlike his son Helios, who controlled the solar disk, Hyperion embodied the very essence of light, the pure brilliance that permeated the world before it took the form of a celestial body. In ancient Greek thought, light was considered one of the most fundamental elements of existence. It symbolized clarity, truth, reason, and order. As the primordial source of light, Hyperion held a special place in mythology, representing the force that illuminated the universe before the establishment of time and cosmic order by the Olympian gods. Hyperion was also perceived as the first observer of celestial events. Some interpretations suggest that he was the first to comprehend the cyclical movement of the sun, moon, and stars. According to myth, he passed this knowledge on to his son Helios, his daughter Selene, and the dawn goddess Eos. These 3 deities became the direct embodiments of different aspects of light. Helios, the daytime sun, bringing warmth and life to the world. Selene, the nocturnal luminary reflecting the sunlight and illuminating the darkness. Eos, the harbinger of day, dispersing the shadows and paving the way for the sun. Thus, Hyperion was not merely one of the Titans. He was one of the greatest symbols of light, existing before the rise of the Olympian pantheon. Unlike Zeus, who symbolized power and order, or Cronus, associated with the passage of time, Hyperion was the very essence of radiance, the source from which the movement of celestial bodies and the alternation of day and night originated. His image in ancient Greek tradition represents more than just a divine figure. It is a concept of light as a fundamental force necessary for the existence of the world. Hyperion did not participate in the wars of the gods, nor did he seek power, but his presence was constant, just like light itself, which illuminates the earth regardless of who rules on Olympus. Although Hyperion was not a central figure in the Titanomachy, the great war between the Titans and the Olympian gods, he played a significant role in earlier events that preceded Zeus's rise to power. When Uranus, the ruler of the sky and father of the Titans, began to fear his children and imprisoned them within Gaia's depths, their mother, the earth, rebelled against his cruelty. She convinced her son Cronus to overthrow Uranus, and to accomplish this, he required the help of his Titan brothers. According to myth, Hyperion, along with Iapetus, Crius, and Coeus, aided Cronus in his conspiracy. Their role was to restrain Uranus, while Cronus delivered the decisive blow with a sickle. In this episode, Hyperion, as the Titan of light, symbolized the dawn of a new era, when the light that Uranus had suppressed was finally able to break through the darkness. After Uranus was overthrown, Cronus took his place as ruler of the cosmos. However, his reign proved to be just as oppressive. Fearing a prophecy that one of his children would overthrow him, Cronus devoured each of his offspring. Yet, his wife Rhea managed to save the infant Zeus, who later led a rebellion against the Titans. During the Titanomachy, Hyperion fought on the side of the Titans, though his role in battle is not extensively described in myth. Ultimately, he was among those defeated and cast into Tartarus, the deepest abyss, where the Titans were imprisoned. This moment marked the end of the Titan era and the beginning of the Olympian reign. After the fall of the Titans, Hyperion largely faded from mythology. Unlike Prometheus, who retained an active role, or Atlas, who was condemned to bear the heavens, little is known about Hyperion's fate. However, his children, especially Helios, carried on his legacy. Helios became the very embodiment of sunlight, guiding the golden chariot that ascended into the sky each day. Selene and Eos also maintained their connection with celestial phenomena, upholding cosmic order. Thus, although Hyperion did not play a decisive role in the Titanomachy, his involvement in the overthrow of Uranus and the transmission of light's legacy to his children made him a vital figure in ancient Greek cosmogony. He remains a symbol of primordial radiance, existing before the triumph of the Olympians, and an eternal force of light unaffected by the changing ages and rulers. Hyperion may not be as well known as some other titans, but without him, the mythological vision of the ancient Greeks would be incomplete. He is the source of the original light that preceded the rising sun, the father of celestial luminaries, and an essential figure in the cosmogonic myths of antiquity.
Chapter 5. Iapetus, the Titan of humanity's fate. Iapetus, ancient Greek, apetos, Latin, Iapetus, was one of the 12 first-generation Titans. In Greek mythology, he was associated with human fate, mortality, and the inevitability of death, making him a unique figure among the Titans. The name Iapetus has an uncertain etymology, but it may be linked to the Greek verb iaptein, yapto, meaning to pierce or to wound. This connection reinforces his association with death, suffering, and the finite nature of human life, highlighting his role in shaping mankind's destiny. Iapetus is often referred to as the ancestor of humanity, because his son, Prometheus, became the creator and protector of humankind. However, Iapetus himself is portrayed in myths as a more severe and somber figure, reminding mortals of their limits and the consequences of defying the gods. According to different mythological sources, Iapetus was married either to Clymene or Asia, both Oceanids, daughters of Oceanus and Tethys. These names are associated with water and the flow of time, symbolizing the continuity of generations and the passing of fate. Iapetus fathered 4 notable titans, each embodying different aspects of human destiny. Prometheus, the titan of foresight and wisdom, a benefactor of humanity. He stole fire from the gods and suffered severe punishment from Zeus. Epimetheus, the embodiment of thoughtlessness and impulsiveness. He accepted Pandora, who unleashed suffering upon the world. Atlas, a mighty titan who, after the defeat of the Titans, was punished by Zeus and condemned to hold up the heavens. Menoetius, the titan of arrogance and violence, punished by Zeus for his defiance and cast into Tartarus. Each of Iapetus's sons reflected different aspects of human nature: intelligence and foresight, Prometheus; recklessness, Epimetheus; endurance in the face of fate, Atlas; and destructive hubris, Menoetius. In Greek mythology, Iapetus was closely associated with mortality and the inevitability of punishment. Unlike Titans, who represented cosmic and natural forces such as Hyperion, linked to celestial light, or Oceanus, the primordial sea, Iapetus was concerned with the fate of mortal beings. His sons inherited qualities that defined their destinies. This contrast is especially evident in Prometheus and Epimetheus. One represents wisdom and protection, while the other embodies foolishness and the cause of suffering. Like the other Titans, Iapetus sided with his brother Cronus in the war against the Olympians. However, despite his great power, he was unable to withstand Zeus and was ultimately cast into Tartarus along with the defeated Titans. After the Olympians' victory, Iapetus was imprisoned in Tartarus, where, according to myth, he remained bound alongside Cronus, Crius, Coeus, and others. His fate underscored his connection to punishment and retribution for defying divine authority. Some ancient authors, particularly Hesiod, viewed Iapetus not only as a titan of fate, but also as an early ancestor of humanity. This idea parallels the biblical figure Japheth, the son of Noah, whom some ancient and medieval scholars identified with Iapetus due to their similar names and roles as progenitors. However, in Greek mythology, Iapetus did not play an active role in the creation of mankind. This responsibility fell to his son, Prometheus. Instead, Iapetus symbolized the boundaries imposed upon mortal beings. Philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle later interpreted his sons as archetypes of human traits. Prometheus, intelligence and the pursuit of progress. Epimetheus, foolishness and impulsivity. Atlas, strength and endurance. Menoetius, arrogance leading to destruction. Through his descendants, Iapetus left a lasting influence on the understanding of human nature. Iapetus was one of the lesser-known yet significant titans in Greek mythology. His importance lies in his connection to fate, mortality, and the limits of human existence. Through his sons, Prometheus, Epimetheus, Atlas, and Menoetius, he shaped key aspects of human culture, philosophy, and mythology. His figure serves as a reminder of life's impermanence and the inevitability of divine retribution for hubris. Though he was ultimately cast into Tartarus after the Titanomachy, his legacy endured through his descendants, who played vital roles in shaping mythological themes related to humanity and destiny. Chapter 6. Cronus, Lord of the Titans, who overthrew Uranus. Cronus, the youngest of the 12 Titans, is one of the most significant figures in Greek mythology, as he overthrew his father to become the supreme god and ruler of the Golden Age. Among the Titans, Cronus stood out for his cunning and ambition. Unlike his older brothers, he did not simply accept his fate but decided to change the order of the world. Later, his own children, the Olympians, followed the same path, overthrowing his reign. The name Cronus is often linked to the root krino, meaning to rule or to govern, though there are other theories regarding its etymology. Uranus was the first supreme deity, embodying the sky. However, he did not wish to yield power to his descendants. According to the myths, he imprisoned his children, the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires, within the bowels of Gaia, causing her immense pain. Gaia, angered by her husband's cruelty, decided to overthrow him and persuaded her Titan children to revolt. Only Cronus, the youngest and most ambitious, agreed to carry out his mother's plan. Gaia created a sickle, which Cronus used against his father. When Uranus descended to the earth to unite with Gaia, Cronus ambushed him. Uranus's bloody remains were cast into the sea, and from them, according to the myths, were born the Erinyes, Furies, goddesses of vengeance, the giants, the Melii, nymphs of the ash trees, Aphrodite, who emerged from the foam of the sea mixed with Uranus's blood. After overthrowing his father, Cronus declared himself the supreme ruler of the gods and seized power. However, he did not free the Hecatoncheires and the Cyclopes, instead imprisoning them in Tartarus again, fearing their strength. Cronus ruled the universe and established the Golden Age, a mythical era of happiness, abundance, and justice. During this time, humans knew no war, disease, or old age. Food grew on its own without effort, and gods and mortals lived in harmony. This period is considered utopian, but it was short-lived, as a prophecy loomed over Cronus, foretelling his downfall. Cronus took his sister Rhea as his wife, and she bore him 6 children: Zeus, the future supreme god; Poseidon, god of the seas; Hades, ruler of the underworld; Hera, goddess of marriage; Demeter, goddess of fertility; Hestia, goddess of the hearth. Gaia and Uranus foretold that one of his sons would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his own father. Fearing this fate, Cronus made a drastic decision. He began devouring his children immediately after their birth. Rhea could not bear her husband's cruelty and decided to save her youngest son, Zeus. When the time came for his birth, she hid the infant on the island of Crete and entrusted him to the care of nymphs. Instead of the baby, she gave Cronus a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes, which he swallowed, believing he had rid himself of the threat. Zeus grew in secret, gaining strength to one day take revenge. When Zeus became powerful enough, he decided to overthrow his father. With the help of Metis, the goddess of wisdom, Zeus forced Cronus to vomit up his swallowed siblings, allowing them to join the fight. Thus began the Titanomachy, the great battle between the Titans and the Olympians, which lasted for 10 years. Cronus and his supporters, the Titans, fought against Zeus and his allies, the Cyclopes, who forged Zeus's lightning bolts, the Hecatoncheires, who possessed immense strength. In the end, the Olympians triumphed. Cronus and his brothers were cast into Tartarus, the deepest abyss, where they were guarded by the Hecatoncheires. Cronus is one of the most important Titans, playing a key role in Greek mythology. He was both the creator and the victim of a new world order. He overthrew Uranus, but was overthrown by Zeus. He established the Golden Age, but fell victim to prophecy. Although his reign ended, his influence continued, through his children, especially Zeus, who inherited the throne of Olympus and altered the fate of both gods and mortals. Conclusion. The first-generation Titan brothers played a crucial role in Greek mythology. They personified various cosmogonical principles: water, light, intellect, power, and the fate of humanity. Although their era ended with the rise of the Olympians, their influence on mythology remains significant. Their descendants, Prometheus, Atlas, Helios, Leto, and many others, continued their legacy, linking the ancient world of the Titans with the later Olympian pantheon. Thus, the Titan brothers were not only the first deities, but also laid the foundation for all subsequent Greek mythology. If you enjoyed this exploration of the myths of ancient Greece, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and click the bell to stay updated on new episodes. There are many more fascinating stories ahead about gods, heroes, and legends.